Hi. Remember, as you're reading the chapter today, there's little assignments that say, hey, go look this up. Prioritize these things. Look at the different model. Connect it to real things that are going on with you. Because ultimately, there's no one way to do everything. But when it talked about being instructionally aware, that you need your team, you need resources, and you need time to sit down and plan what's best for students. And so that whole thing is, I don't have time. That's a lie. If you don't have time to be intentional about what you're teaching, then you don't have time to succeed. And that defeats the whole purpose. So when you look at this is just one way to see how to be able to support equity for all students to be empowered to be their best selves and get quality resources from people who have capacity to be able to say, hey, I have space and time to do this. I have expertise in this. I can teach this in my general ed classroom, and I'm partnering with intervention, and they're going to cover this aligned, connected topic, and the right hand knows what the left hand is doing, and our after school program looks like this. Here are some additional videos that you can watch. Here are some community partners. I have different programs for students on weekends. We're talking about alignment and not being limited to your building, because when you think about digital literacy, and even right now, you don't have to be in the same city, you don't have to be in the same town, you don't have to pay a lot of money to be able to connect with the resources to help your students succeed, even in your regular lessons. You can move up those steps. So when you read about TPACK, when you read about SAMR, and ways to elevate or transform some of your things, nothing is a one-stop shop. Everything are different frameworks and models of how to continually grow so that students receive the best education possible. And that means letting go of some old systems and being able to embrace, not throwing the baby away with the bathwater, but being able to understand the point of putting the baby in the bathwater. It's not to punish the baby. It's not to try to compare the baby to other babies or shame the baby. Is to be able to say, hey, I want this baby to be fresh and clean so this baby can go and do other things, so this baby doesn't have infections, so this baby, when we think about the purpose of education and whether we are focusing on our pedagogy, on which standards and content are most essential or focus standards, whether we're looking at which type of technologies enhance, enrich or provide like accessibility or equity, all of that is put in place. Just like a parent who loves their child, you thinking about all these different elements, and at the end of the day, you're trying to figure out what is best for my child. You all, every day we get the opportunity to work with somebody's child. It's like they're the greatest thing that they could offer is this child that they would die for, and then we get the chance to spend sometimes more time with that child and to be able to invest all these bodies of knowledge and be able to share it with students in such a way that they want to end up growing up to do things like I want to be a biologist, or I want to be a writer, or I'm going to agriculture. Why? Because I was learning about such and such and I got really interested, and we had the opportunity to go visit this museum, or to pretend like we were doing these fossils, or to create our own constellations, or to whatever the thing is. You get to spark and kindle that little fire in them through your content, and your pedagogy says, hey, how do I get to do this so that all of my students have an opportunity to taste and see how wonderful it is to be able to learn something and then be able to use it and analyze it and mess with it, and at some point ultimately create bigger and better things based on it. So when you look at this chapter and all the other chapters in this book, please enjoy. And as a future teacher or current teacher, enjoy every day. If you have to slow down to regulate yourself to be able to enjoy what you're doing, please do that. Please do that, because you don't ever want to miss. And I had a lot of acronyms, I know, in my chapter, but you don't want to miss the fact that people matter. You always put people before projects. You always think of your students first. They're the big rocks that go in the jar, and then you can fill in all the other stuff. It'll fit because it'll help you have boundaries and know what you don't have time for. It'll put things in priority when you look at what are the big things your students need to know and be able to do. They need to be able to communicate. They need to be able to read and understand. They need to be able to at this grade level because Because on day 185, when they leave me and they go to the next grade, I need them to be able to so that they can Okay? So put those big rocks in first, and then you fill in everything else efficiently, and that's where technology is going to really help you understand, I can't just use it to use it because it could be a waste of time or not the best. But I also can become really efficient and literate in terms of what could I do that would save me a lot of time or provide greater equity for all my students to be able to produce way better outcomes. So just keep it in mind and enjoy this chapter.